All right, we should be live here and all set up. Let me know if you guys can hear me, if you can see me, and we'll get started here in just a moment. Alright, just getting things organized so I can actually see what you guys are saying in chat. And we will get started in just a couple minutes here. Alright, awesome. So, in our, if I can find my pen. Voila. Alright, so in our last live stream, I sculpted the character that you can see on screen right here. We spent a few hours working on this, just kind of playing and experimenting with some different ideas, trying to, discover the character as we went. And I had so much fun doing that, I thought we would do it again today. So I'm going to create another character bust from scratch, just like this one. And maybe it'll be something that we play with, or I play with more after the stream, but that is the basic gist of what we'll be doing. In terms of changes that I made after the stream, let me see if I have that old version here. Let's see here. I'll see if I can find that real quick, so I can show you guys the quick before and after. Most of the changes were just to the hair. Let's see if I can find the folder even. Too many folders. No, not that one. Ah, there we go. All right. Okay, it should be this one? Yes. And the material's messed up, so there we go. Let me grab that one more time. All right, that works. Can hear and see you. Awesome. Thanks, Joe, and welcome. Welcome to the live stream. So, for those who missed last Monday's live stream, here is the character where we left off at the end of the live stream, and here are some of the very minor changes that I made to it. So you can see most of those changes are to the hair, and then there are some very minor changes to the face, but those very minor changes actually make quite a large difference. A lot of that has to do with softening around the eyes and nose, kind of giving that more of an angle upturned effect so it's not quite as straight and boring, and just helping to give that a little more roundness in a few different areas, like around the cheeks. You can see a little extra volume there. That's it pretty much for the face. Minor things, but they make a big difference. And then in terms of the hair, obviously some big changes, just kind of shrinking the shape. We did a lot of experimentation, just kind of playing around with that. Overall minor, I would say, but I think this was maybe like 30 minutes after the live stream, or not directly after the live stream, but off of stream. So there are the changes to that character. And for those that are just joining us here, we're going to be doing something really similar in today's stream. So I'm going to be creating a character from scratch, just starting from a sphere, like you guys know I love to do. And I'll be talking, answering questions, and much like this character here, trying to find it along the way. So it'll be a lot of experimentation. Things will probably be slow, but that's kind of the way I like it around here. So it'll be fun and chill and some good vibes as we move forward on this gal. Let me get that positioned real quick, and then we'll go ahead and start. So I'm just going to put her up in the corner. I have to look over at my side monitor here just so I can get her positioned. Little Shift S. You know what? Actually, let's do this. Okay. We'll do a couple quick screen grabs. Bye-bye. Oh no, that's a little creepy, isn't it? Like she's hovering over me. Oh well. That'll have to do. Alright, cool. So, let's grab a sphere. We'll just refresh our list. grab our sculpting mat, turn off perspective, and as long as we don't have any questions here, we'll go ahead and start. Let me grab a drink and check chat, and we'll do exactly that. You cannot see me yet. Oh no. Well, hopefully. Oh, now you can. All right. Awesome. Great. Welcome, showman. Z-Key. I'm sure I'm saying that wrong. Welcome. Hello, hello, hello. And welcome to everybody else joining us here. Maybe shout out where you're watching from or what time of day it is. Good morning, good afternoon, good night, whatever it may be. Hope you're having a good one. All right. I have plenty of liquids to stay refreshed in this extremely hot office that does not have a lot of insulation from the outdoors. Let's get into it. Cool. All right. What do we want to do here? I was thinking just for a moment, hey, you know what? Why not start with a little bit of color? Not a ton, just like a little bit of warmth. That might be fun. It's been a while since I've done that. And I think that could be nice here. All right, so let's duplicate our sphere. And start just pushing some stuff around. So you guys know when I'm experimenting in the early stages, I'm just kind of working rough with some primitive shapes. I could be using cylinders for the neck, but sometimes it's just easier for me to just quickly duplicate something like that. Duplicating pieces takes just a moment. And we can just kind of push and pull some stuff around real quick and easy like. A little bit of a lumpy shape language going on. I don't think I like that. I don't think I want to make a lumpy character. Maybe I do. I don't know. I actually don't know what I want to make. That's part of the fun of these streams. Never know what's going to come out, but I think I'd want to make something kind of fun. You know, we did something cutesy last time. We might go in a similar route. Heck, I don't know. Maybe we'll make Shrek. I have no idea. But that's what we got to figure out. Where are we going to go with this? Okay, we're getting some kind of interesting shapes here. Merge these down together. Kind of boxy for the chin. Do I like that? Oh, we're getting a little kind of interesting there, kind of rounded. Here, 1 second, guys. My chat is like barely visible for me. I gotta move it. There we go. Shout out from Brazil. Welcome. Welcome everybody from Brazil, if there's any others watching. Osiris, welcome, welcome. Do you have issues when applying color? It applies to all polymesh instead of the one you want to apply it to. No, I don't have that issue, but I know what your problem is. It's because you don't have a material applied. So do you see how I just turned off the paint icon over here for the neck and body that I'm blocking out right now? It's not really much of anything. But if I shift the color boop, to purple, see how it changes for everything? That's because you don't have a color assigned to it or a material assigned to it, or it's toggled off like I just did there. So if you do that, it's going to apply whatever you have selected. That's what your current issue is most likely. So you can just press C on your keyboard, sample whatever color you want, change it over here, whatever you need to do, and then just go over here, grab maybe a paintbrush, make sure MRGB is turned on, fill object, and you're all set and ready to go. I'd guarantee 99% of the time that is your issue. Pretty simple one and pretty easy to fix. How quickly could you turn around a nice rigged model for an indie video game? Nothing too extreme, but aesthetically pleasing. For an artist of your experience. Wow, thank you. So kind. I don't rig characters, so I have no idea. So there you go. Sorry. Don't rig characters, don't want to rig characters. Don't enjoy rigging characters, don't want to enjoy rigging characters. Not fun for me. I don't create the things that I don't want to do. I enjoy drawing, I enjoy painting, I enjoy sculpting, but I don't enjoy doing manual retopo, all the boring stuff. Why would you want to do that? You should learn and practice the artistic fundamentals. What does that mean? It means all the technical stuff, it's going to be automated in the future. But art fundamentals will always be something that you can use moving forward. What are the art fundamentals for sculpting appealing characters? Sign up for my program, the Appeal Academy, and find out. Learn directly from me. It's a good time. Alright, next, way too thick. Way too long as well. Jesus. Okay, something like that. Kind of awkward on the head shape, but we'll play with it. And let's just grab a sphere. We'll put some ears in. Would you create a background for your characters? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. If I'm doing like a scene, I don't see why not. Could be fun. Retop is life draining. Yeah. Dude, my screen's got something on it. Get out of here. No quick save. We do not need, and we do not want you. Go away. Alright, we'll figure out some ears. Yeah, I'm really interested in making characters. Characters are obviously way more complex and difficult than environment or, maybe they're different. They're different and complicated in their own right. But, something like an object, like, I don't know, something a character might hold, whatever it is going to be much easier than a full character, especially a face, hands, etc. Alright, it's kind of masculine rhythm with the jaw, but we can change that pretty easily by rounding it out, by tucking these jaw corners. Coming down to more of a point, and then we're going to take that and soften it. How are we going to do that? We're going to zero mesh it. Target poly count of about 1K should be fine. Oh crap, here, one sec. And if anybody is new joining us today, before we get too far into it, and I forget because I often do, check out my Gumroad. There's a link down below in the description where you can grab some awesome stuff like my new How to Easily Draw Every Day guide, as well as things like my custom brushes, materials, etc., and join my program, the Appeal Academy, where you can learn everything I know about sculpting appealing characters. Gumroad.com/Follygon. Check it out at the link below. If you've been around for a while here and you're not subscribed as well, maybe consider clicking that subscribe button. I've been streaming on Mondays at about the same time, roughly, 1 or 2 p.m. Eastern time. Just kind of depends on how the day's going. So I don't have a super strict streaming schedule at this time, but maybe I can nail something down in the future. I'm trying this, a little bit more consistency in terms of streaming. I used to stream all the time back in the day, but I haven't recently had much time for that, but I'm trying to get back into it because I really enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. I like getting on here and, just kind of seeing where things go as I play with the character, like I'm doing right now. Just something simple, clean, quick, nothing too complex. And just see what happens. How would you make a house? Brick by brick. No. The same way you would make a character. Block it out. block it out, refine it, polish it. Same way you make everything. If you're looking for some hard surface tutorials, go check out my Gumroad. I have a couple really good hard surface stuff on there for ZBrush, if you're interested in that. It doesn't matter what kind of tablet you use. No. The only reason I use a tablet with a screen like I'm using right now, I should like move my camera around and show you guys what I see, because I have this. You guys can like kind of see it, but it's a little covered up. I show it off in a few of my videos on my channel, but maybe I don't show it off enough. But yeah, I just like being able to interact directly on my screen. I really like that feel. But I used to use Wacom tablets where you could just draw on the actual tablet. I don't think it matters too much. I think it just kind of comes down to preference. I know professional artists that use, non-screen tablets. So, really just up to you. But no, it does not matter. Strictly a preference. Alright, create a basic ear shape. I mentioned in my last live stream, I do have an insert ear brush for a bunch of ears, because I've made a bunch of ears. But I don't know, usually if I'm working on a character, I'll kind of insert that. But I've been having fun making everything from scratch. I mean, I normally make everything from scratch. It's great practice to do that. But I actually, stumble upon some interesting new shapes that I might not have tried. That's also why I really like these, because the whole name of the game is experimentation, right? So, try out a couple new ideas, see what happens, see if I like some of the basic shapes I create. If not, just tweak it until we do. Alright. Would someone using a mouse to sculpt be a bad thing? I would say mostly yes. I very occasionally, so like right now I have my hand on my mouse, right? I'll very occasionally like just grab my mouse and like, move brush, kind of make some big changes real quick. But for the most part, you're not gonna have nearly as much control, you're not gonna have nearly as much finesse. And the main thing you're gonna lose is control of your brush stroke. So here I am making a brush stroke with my mouse, boop, 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 always the same thickness. Here I am, not changing the brush at all, but now I'm going to gently pull through, make it stronger, make it lighter, just again to illustrate light, strong, light. So you get a lot more control when you have pressure sensitivity. You can do all sorts of different things. And you're gonna be at a huge disadvantage attempting to sculpt with a mouse in ZBrush over a tablet. So yeah, it's just simply better. Now, does that mean that you can't sculpt with a mouse? No, but you're just making stuff way harder on yourself, and I'm a believer that you should have and use the best tools for the job. So, in my opinion, that means grabbing yourself a tablet. And you can get a really cheap one, too. Like, you don't have to break the bank on a tablet by any means. I kind of liked when I pulled down on the forehead there earlier. That's kind of, I don't want to bake in much expression here, and I do want to find the character a little bit in terms of shape language. If you guys watched the last stream when I was making this gal, even from the beginning when I was in this stage, I had like the basic head shape down. Obviously a lot of changes happen along the way, but the main idea was there. So I kind of want to find that main idea here at this stage before I get too far ahead of myself. Which is, kind of what I tout and teach all the time in my videos and in the Appeal Academy. The foundation of what you are creating is everything. I'm kind of known as the primary form guy, but truth be told, primary form is all there is, guys. Everything else is just icing on top. Even when it comes to realism. if you take a realistic character and run Decimation Master on it, blasted those polys down to just simple planes, still gonna look realistic because you have all the primary proportions correct and in the right spot. All it is your fundamentals. It's all fundamentals. I don't remember, oh man, I don't remember what video it was. I get all sorts of, and I used to get a lot more because I'm not, you know, doing a bunch of like wider reaching 2D to 3D videos right now because I'm trying to focus on streaming a little more because I really enjoy it. But what was I'm trying to think of what the comment said recently. Something like, I'd have to look it up to remember exactly what it was, but it was really funny. It was something along the lines of, who you gonna listen to? Just some random YouTuber, or you know, the best artists in the world. And I'm like, mother, do you know who I am? Not that I've ever said, do you know who I am, unironically, but maybe in this moment I was a little bit like, do you know who I am? I do have some hard surface stuff on my YouTube channel, yeah, but if you want the good tutorial, I would recommend checking out the robot one on my Gumroad. You're gonna get a lot more value out of that. That is straight to the point on everything you need to know about hard surface modeling in ZBrush. All right. Let's turn on perspective, spin things around. Jaw is like a little weird here. It's not far enough forward, and it's kind of long. So this shelf right here is too big. It just looks weird from the profile. But anyway, to go back to what I was saying, I get comments like that all the time, and I'm just like, dude, get over yourself. But 90% of every comment I receive is extremely kind. And you just gotta let the trolls troll. Just ignore them, guys. So if you see people, I forget which video it was. I think it was my video where I was like, you gotta practice exactly what you want to work on, and I am a really good living example of this because I've done both of the things that I talk about in that video, which is if you want to get better at sculpting, you need to sculpt and not draw, which I sculpted before I ever learned to draw, and now I am learning to draw, and I'm improving a lot from drawing. I didn't really improve a lot at drawing from sculpting, though. And people were extremely surprised when they saw my drawing skills and said, but hey, you're really good at sculpting. Why can't you draw? And I'm like, because I don't draw, I sculpt. That's the thing I do. Why is this confusing to you? They're two separate things. They're two different things. And people just, art is this magical thing. I say this all the time. Art is this magical thing that people they feel like it's different, There's got to be this, magic inane talent, or there's some secret, kind of like a weight loss program. There's a secret that you're not telling us. There's no secrets. You just do it a lot and you get good at it. It's really that easy. It is really that simple. And if you want to get better at stylized character art, you got to sculpt stylized characters. You don't want to do realism. You don't need to study anatomy. You don't need to practice anything other than creating stylized characters. This is the fastest way to improve at sculpting stylized characters. Copy and learn from artists that you enjoy. Will doing things like practicing and learning information about anatomy help you? Will practicing and learning things about realism help you? Absolutely. But they are not the number one thing that you should be doing if you want to get better at specifically those things. And for some reason, this is like blasphemy to these people who, I'll be honest, most of them, almost all of them, have no idea what they're talking about. they're not, competent artists, and I don't mean that as like you're incompetent. I mean that as like they just don't have the skills to back up what they're saying. And that's okay, Everybody's entitled to their opinion. And I'm allowed to voice mine. A nude character? No, you would sculpt that exactly the same as the way I do any of my characters. I'm not sure what you mean. Like, for most of the stuff I do, clothing, I'll just extract that directly from the body. But if you want to do something like, your genitals or something, if you want to sculpt genitals, then obviously that's going to be different if your character's clothed. I am also a proponent of not creating things that won't be seen. So, you don't need to give your character certain forms underneath of their clothing if it's never going to appear without clothing. Why waste time creating stuff like that? The best example I can give is toes. Why would you sculpt, actually even feet in general, why would you sculpt feet for a character if it's never going to be seen? Absolutely zero reason to do that. So don't, work smarter, not harder. Obviously, if you want the practice, you can do that. All right, let's play with this a little more here. Let's pull that forward. All right, let's go maybe like slightly further apart for the eyes. And here, I need transparency. A little larger. A little further out. It's a little hard to do this because I do want to give this character big eyes. At least at this stage I do. Because last time when I was working on this gal, I didn't really like how small her eyes were looking initially. So I had to tweak that a lot to get that to a place I liked. It's kind of an interesting, simplistic nose shape. And another thing I have to be careful of here is letting the eyes bug out too much here on the side. So this edge right here, this side, needs to be pushed forward. And that inner corner needs to be pushed in or pushed back. And now you can, sculpt eyelids directly on top, but I'm not really a huge fan of doing that, so I typically take my eyeball, repurpose everything you can, right? So I'll take that eyeball, and I'm just gonna cut it up into an eyelid real fast. I'll even, I'll turn on transparency. Do it this way. Do something like right there. That's fine. All right, we'll take that, we'll mirror that over to the other side. And let me just set up a couple things here real fast. We'll turn on double on some stuff. Thank you, Showman. I appreciate that. You listen to your viewers, you aren't mean about it. You are what everyone looks for in a teacher. I will be honest and say that in terms of finding a teacher, I think the thing that I look for the most is honestly not necessarily even skill. Like, obviously you want to learn from someone whose art you enjoy, whose art you want to emulate, whose art, you admire. But what I do want those things in a teacher, but more than that, I want someone who's good at teaching, because there are so many. And I'm not going to throw shade here at any artists like on YouTube or anywhere else, but there are so many amazing artists out there that are just really, really bad at teaching. And like I said, no shade to these people, but you hop on YouTube and you find this amazing artist and you're like, oh man, I love their art. I want to learn from them. They have a tutorial, they have a course, they have whatever, they have something, right? And then you go and you buy that course and you check it out and you're like, wow, this is really bad. And I'm going to say that's true for most of the stuff that I have in my art career attempted to learn from other artists. Most of the time, sure, they're amazing artists, but they're just really, really bad at teaching, where most of the time what you get from them is something like, okay, well, I'm doing like this, so just I don't know why I do it, but just copy me, just do what I'm doing. And I'm like, Dude, if you can't explain the reason why you do something, you're not teaching it. You're just showing this could be a YouTube time lapse, man. Like, come on. What are you doing? That's just really frustrating for people that are trying to learn and trying to improve. Just finding quality content. Because, you get burned on that kind of thing once, and then it just makes it hard to want to do that again in the future. That's just frustrating. Because I've been there. I've done that. I know what that's like. How do you maintain topology while sculpting so that you can use it for animation later? That's the neat part. You don't. You retopologize it later. Right after we get out of the alien phase. Am I right? So, yeah, you don't worry about topology at all. There's no reason to. Unless you're in a pipeline at a studio where they have a really specific, here's this topology that we're going to use for every single one of our characters in our pipeline. Make sure you use it because it works for our rig that we have down the line. So you need to use this. That is the only time you need to worry about that. And honestly, if you're there, you're not going to be asking that question anyway. But for the most part, you don't need to worry about it. Most studios don't do that. Most of the time, you have a character, high res, and then it goes through a low res process. All right, let's merge these together. Let's Dynamesh them. So like if you were looking at this head that I'm working on just a moment ago, and you're like, oh, how do you maintain that animation ready topology? If you think that's animation ready topology, I got some bad news for you. I got some hard truths. I don't know why my voice just became like this, but that's my hard truths voice, I guess. Alright, we're gonna keep everything a little messy here. So, I even said, like, oh, I need to move these eyes further apart, but now I'm like, man, these eyes need to come closer together now that I'm in it. Let's do this. Let's start pulling this information up. And let's start focusing up. Trying to find a direction here. I'm gonna merge a few more pieces together too. Man, this LaCroix is killing me. All right, just gonna blend some things together, and then we'll continue forward. All right, so I like the general shape of the facial proportions. I think now we're just going to start blocking out some of the facial features a little more. So position of mouth, and then adjust things like the nose, eyes, ears, etc. So nose is like awkwardly high on the face. That's okay. These are like really easy things to fix and change, and that's what we're gonna do moving forward. So now our goal is to find, we found the general proportion of our head. We've blocked that out and found something that we enjoy. And now we want to find the general proportion for our facial features that we enjoy and want to keep pushing on. So right now, obviously, things look pretty alien at this phase when you're blocking something out. But what's important when you're working on this phase is to not get tunnel vision and see this, but kind of see the end goal, like what we have over here on the left from our last stream, where, you know, you're looking forward. Keep your eyes not on what you have, but where you're going. And I know that can be really hard, especially if you're new, but, you know, just try not to get tunnel vision. Try not to let it distract you too much. And just, you know, have fun with the process. Because it's going to be a long process. Sculpting takes a long time. It is not a quick medium by any means. Sculpting is slow. Speaking of mouths, since I'm working on this mouth, I'm going to keep this mouth closed. We did an open mouth last time. That was pretty fun, but this time I'm going to do a closed mouth. All right. Let me just block out a couple more plane changes here. Side of the face, I want to refine. I want to see this from the 3/4 angle and start thinking about the position here for the cheek corner, down into the chin. And notice how we're getting kind of a dagger shaped, kind of down to the chin. That's kind of like a cool shape, but I want to round that out a little more and make it appear softer. So I want to go back over here on the side plane of the face and just add some volume. And you can do this any way you want. I'm just showing you a quick way with the clay brush. And already that starts to kind of round out the face there. Another thing you can do is you can round out your jawline here, but you want to be careful. I'm just being real messy here with my clay brush. You don't want to lose it too much. You want to make sure you know and understand where that is, because if you lose it too much, then all of a sudden you don't have a jaw at all, and then it's really hard to figure out kind of what's going on with your face. Same thing, you know, it's the principle of all these plane changes of the face, or, you know, whatever you're sculpting. You need to understand where your surface is turning. After you understand where it's turning, then you can work on rounding out an edge. These are kind of the invisible lines of the face. You can, you know, work on hard edges like I like to do here. You don't have to necessarily work this way. It's not mandatory, but it does make it a lot easier to kind of see what's going on as you rotate around in three-dimensional space. Now, hard edges, like I said, we're going to keep them in for a while. We're going to keep things looking a little messy, but we'll clean them up later. We're not in any hurry to polish what we have right now. Goal is not polish at this stage. Goal is proportion, primary form right now. We're figuring out the character. We're not trying to just create a finished piece immediately. If you try to rush ahead, what are you going to end up with? A turd. Bad primary forms. You can't polish a turd. You can, but still a turd in the end, isn't it? So, alright, I'm just gonna find a few rhythms here in the face that I like to look for. Kind of the, I'm forgetting the name of it now. What do we got up here? What's that little rhythm called? Ben, come on, you know. It's a gland. Which gland is that? It doesn't really matter, but I know the shape of it. I think it was last stream where I called, what did I say? Your trapezius. I called your trapezius your tricep. Or maybe it was the stream before that. I don't remember. But I'm just like sitting there. I'm like, wait, tricep? What? Tricep? No, trapezius. I'll think of it. Or somebody else can remind me in chat. All right, let's work on the back of the head here. It looks a little awkward. So I just want to round out some aspects slightly. No, that's not it. Good try, though. That's definitely not it. We can be sure of that. We can all be sure of that. Alright, let's try local sim. Bring that eye forward just a little. If you were making an older character, where would you put wrinkles to make it aesthetically pleasing? I don't know about aesthetically pleasing, but you'd want to look at real people and find out where those areas of wrinkles naturally occur. You're gonna see some of those wrinkles here. So if you put some wrinkles around the mouth bag, you're gonna automatically make a character age. Obviously, everybody knows about rings under the eye. It's another common area, so trying to find these areas and exaggerate and accentuate them, those are gonna be the areas that you wanna look for. Obviously, do your own study and look at your own references that you can find online, especially if you have like a main reference, like some image that you're looking at. Take some time to study that. Find out where you can apply some of those changes. All right. Let's make a couple more tweaks here to the eye cavity. I want to figure out the shape of this eye cavity a little more before I go through. I'm just going to sculpt this bottom lid a little more. I'm going to exaggerate this initially. We'll blend this all together. So see these hard planes? That's just for now. I just want to understand the shapes that I'm looking at. We'll come back through, we'll Dynamesh, get rid of all that stretched, pinched geometry, and we'll start to clean that up. This one I definitely didn't want in there. It's going to age the character a ton. Alright. Looking wide-eyed, bug-eyed, etc. That is fine. That's really easy to fix. Sometimes I like to leave the awkward in just to make you guys feel a little uncomfortable. Just leave it in for a while. You gotta be comfortable with the awkward when you're sculpting. If you're not comfortable with the awkward, you're just gonna end up not progressing past the awkward. Just let it look weird for a little. It's not going anywhere. Okay. Now we'll start to blend out some of this for the hard edges. Okay. Let me find an edge real quick. Down here to the corner. Help to round that out. Looking a little swollen over here. Pull in on the ears. And remember, I'm not working with perspective right at that moment, so it'll look a little weird once we turn perspective on. I like to swap back and forth while I'm working, never keeping it on all the time, never keeping it off all the time. Just going back and forth. All right, let's take a look at the other side. All right, cool. Here, let's do this real quick. I'm gonna put a quick pupil on the eye. I'm just gonna do this with a mask pen. And then I'll use some quick hotkeys to grow and shrink our mask friend here. All right, let's go much larger. Let's get an idea of shape next to everything else. A little smaller, I think. Okay, something like that. Alright, my mask growing function was not doing me any favors there. So, I'll just go through and deselect it. There we go. Alright. Uh-oh. Too awkward? Too weird? That's okay. Get used to it. Get used to the awkward. Get used to the weird. It's fine. It's not about what your work looks like while you're working on it. It matters what it looks like when you put your pen down, right? And you say, I'm done. And we're just getting started. All right, mouth, nose, way too high on face. Let's bring those down. All right, let me remesh that. It'll make it much easier for me to work on. Let me do a quick history recall. We'll do target poly count of 2. Let's go. That's gonna make my quick saves much larger, but I'll leave it off for now, actually. I was gonna do a quick turn on file for my quick save, or my undos for my quick save, but I'll leave it for now. I think we'll be fine. After learning anatomy, what are steps to work on to work like a professional? What are the steps you took how to start learning and work your way towards professionalism? That's a good question. I would start by saying, you're never going to learn anatomy. You're never just going to learn anatomy, right? Anatomy is a lifelong study. But I would say once you start learning the basics of anatomy, there's a whole host of things that you can focus on. Anatomy is definitely not the first thing you should be focusing on, though. You should be focusing on your fundamentals, like making good forms. You don't need anatomy knowledge to be able to sculpt good and clean forms. Definitely do not. Anatomy is, an advanced topic that you're going to keep working on for a very, very long time. Your whole career, even. But in terms of professionalism, the only thing that separates you from a professional is a professional gets paid for their work. So maybe start looking for some freelance work online, little projects, and start getting that experience working with clients. The only thing that's gonna, well, not the only thing, but the thing that's gonna most get you some professional experience is professional experience, doing the thing. So I'd say get out there, try to find some small projects, whatever you can, whatever looks like something you could potentially do, and give it a shot. The only thing they can do is say no, right? And, it's probably going to be some pretty cheap work and maybe even some free work along the way. But, you're going to get a lot of experience from something like that. So, maybe hop on Fiverr, hop on Freelancer or Reddit, wherever you're looking for jobs. See if you can find something. But yeah, in terms of like actual learning and study, like to become a better sculptor, look guys, I create the educational content for a reason. There's a link down below in the description, gumroad.com/Follygon. Check out the Appeal Academy. Check out my courses and tutorials. You want to be a better sculptor, you want to be a better artist, you want the knowledge? Hey, I got it here for you. I provide it. Check it out. Link below. Female version of Gollum. Yes, it does. That's all right. Female Gollum is what I was going for. It's just my art style, guys. It's just my art style. Come on. It's just my art style. All right, let's try to combine and simplify that shape of the face. I think that's gonna help just simplify this area, kind of roll and combine all this. It's gonna make it a little more cute if we simplify some of these shapes. All right. Starting to get closer to that rounded shape language that I was looking for. Okay. Try to pull forward on that just a little. Want to be careful, not too much. Let me take that back a little. Just take that back a step. think that's fine. Okay. Okay, so this back eye corner we still need to adjust. Pull that forward. And you'll notice I'm not doing anything else with my eyes, my mouth, my nose, my ears right now. What am I working on, guys? I'm working on the basics, the fundamentals, the primary shapes of this character's face. Adjusting, making small changes, little tweaks. Small changes add up to big changes with enough time. All right. Started to round out the face a little more. We'll come back and play with that here in just a moment. I need to kind of play with that jawline for just a second. And then we need to adjust our eye shape. So to do that, I'm actually going to hop into Transpose Master real quick, T-Pose Mesh, just so I can adjust all those pieces of geometry at the same time. So the shape and proportion here need to scale in just slightly. Check out perspective, that is fine. All right, now I'll just grab this, adjust, scale it down, the width between the two. Looks pretty solid. Let me play with that bridge of the nose coming up. Higher brow can make a character look more surprised, obviously, but it can also kind of add a little bit of cuteness. Depending on, obviously, how high you go, you can make your character look really surprised, depending on the proportions of everything else around it. So, you know, play around with what you got. Don't be afraid to experiment, and that's exactly what we're doing here today. That's what I said at the top of the stream. We're just experimenting, trying to find some different shapes, seeing what we like, seeing what we don't like. Not really headed in any particular direction, but experimenting. This is how you get better, guys. Obviously, sculpt a lot. You know, sculpting is obviously the #1 thing you can do to get better at sculpting. You can watch as many tutorials and educational content as you want. They will give you the information that you need, but eventually you gotta get in and practice. Experiment. Make mistakes. All right, every once in a while, just taking a big step back. Kind of looking at silhouette. Whoops. A little bit. Black and white. Get an idea of things. Okay. A Mogwai. Mogwai. Is that from Harry Potter? Which one's the Mogwai? Oh, no, wait. Mogwai is, don't put water on it, right? Is that what I'm thinking of? Am I thinking of the right thing? Alright. Alright. Let's work on the nose shape for just a second here. Okay, I kind of like the nose shape, but, you know, this termination line, pretty boring. Also, it's super round, like really thick out here. Might be a little too upturned as well. Let's play around with just pulling that down. You know what? That's fine. It's fine where it was. A little smaller. Pull in on the edge. Refine this section just slightly. And then this is just jutting out a little too far. Okay, minor tweaks, minor changes, one small thing at a time. Next I'll work on the lips, and then we'll go back up to the eyes, work on proportions a little more, get things feeling more soft, more cute. Okay. So this shape, this corner of the face can be really tough for people. That's why I always recommend working with hard edges. Okay, that dip is not what we want. Let me pull down here. Okay, I'll have to Dynamesh here in just a sec since I'm pinching so much. Actually, you know what? Yeah, I probably will. Alright, let's go just a little smaller on the eyes. We'll do some eyebrows and some other stuff here as well, which will make it feel a little closer. Playlist for my Disney characters. I don't know how many Disney characters I've actually done. Unless you just mean like that style of character. But if you go to my YouTube channel, in the top right, you might not know this, but if you go to YouTube, hey look, Follygon's streaming, neat. Here, we'll just go here. Boop. If you go to the search icon, search, type in whatever you want, in this case, Disney, where's the N? Jesus, there we go. Disney. You can find anything Disney related on my YouTube channel. Bada bing. Got you hooked up. Obviously a great way to search for specific information, tutorials to see if I've done anything on a topic that you're interested in as well. Hey, what's going on, Bremer? Gremlins, that's right. Mogwai. Couldn't think of what it was. Thank you. No, the hard edge is not gonna stay there, guys. I'm sorry. The hard edge is just a placeholder. Delete these real quick, and then I'll put on some eyebrows, some paint. I need to do the lips. There's so many things I need to do. All right, what should we do first? We'll do a quick duplicate. And what do we think for the brow shape? Normally I just kind of phone in the eyebrows and kind of do them really quick. Just follow the brow line, something like that. This is just a mask. So quick mask, something like that. Then we'll clean it up after the fact. So we just select that geometry. This is just duplicated from the head. Just clean up the edge on the outside as you remesh it. Give it a sec. Boop, boop, boop. Alright. Living the life, living the dream. Heck yeah, man. Alright, let's go wider to shorter. Alright, so I need an eyebrow placeholder. I'll do some quick paint on the face just for a brief moment. Just to start getting it feeling a little more warm in a few areas. Okay, when I start doing this, I'm not really worried about getting it completely in the right place. I'm okay with it bleeding over into other areas. And I just go kind of rough, you know? I'm not really worried about things looking weird or whatever. So a little warmth in the cheeks, a little warmth on the ears, the lips, the nose, around the brow, you know, the whole thing. Heck, why not? The neck. So just a little paint here and there. I'm gonna put white, a little bit of off-white in a couple areas here where it's kind of facing upward. Nice little technique. Upward facing planes can be helpful. You want to be careful when you are doing any kind of manually painting of shadows, because it can get really awkward really fast. You don't want to overdo it, essentially. And I'll do like a little bit here and there. And obviously I'm gonna do this a little hard at first. And then I'll come back in and adjust it after the fact here. You guys know how I like to paint. Just like I like to block out. So you start with something rough, quick. Then what do? You knock it back. That's right. That's right. Boop. Fill it in. Grab the warmer color. Let's go a little more red, pinkish. That's fine. Grab the natural skin tone up towards the top. Now we're gonna start painting and filling in our gaps. So I call this clown painting. I don't know if it actually has a name. That's what I've always kind of considered it, because it's kind of like painting a clown. You start with something really exaggerated, and then you just knock it back. It's really actually quite easy. So, see how exaggerated that looks? Now you can just kind of fade it back slowly. So what I'm doing is I'm filling it in with an RGB low level intensity. And look at that, it starts to feel much more natural. You know, there's the extreme. 1, 2, 3. 3 steps is fine. Yeah, I'll do 4. Leave it like right around there. I think that's fine. That works for me. Make sure to say boop when you knock it back. Boop it. Just boop it back. It's a technical term that artists use. Only real artists, guys, use the term boop. And of course I use it all the time because I'm a real artist. You gotta gatekeep your language for other artists. It's the only way to keep the artistry pure. Alright. I haven't really done anything with these lips. They're super basic, so I'll just play around with them for a moment. Give it like a little bit of a V shape here. Cupid's bow, you guys know the deal. A little more volume on top, maybe. I like to do a little extra volume here in the middle. It's called the pillows of the lips. You got 2 here, 1 up top, just kind of like that. Kind of blend into the nose, make sure it's not getting too weird up here. My planes are a little messed up. So it's because the nostril here, the wing of the nose is too far forward. So I need to pull back on that and adjust the rest of this nose shape. So I started working with this this character in color from the beginning. There's some trade-offs with that. Most of the time I don't do that. I like to use my sculpting material just so I can really see my form and understand what's going on. But sometimes, you know, it's nice to get some color on there early, just so you can kind of get a feel for, you know, how the character is coming together. It feels a little more lifelike. Let's stretch this out real quick. So it's really, you know, up to you, kind of preference. I like to do color from the beginning every once in a while. It kind of depends. All right, I'll have to Dynamesh that. It's way too stretched for me to kind of work on in any kind of helpful way. Okay, let's play with a couple other areas. Let's keep messing with the rest of our shape language here for our facial features. I like what I got going on with the nose and mouth now. It's more about the relationship between those things. Mouth is a little small, nose is a little big, so what are we gonna do? Gonna adjust those slightly. I'll come up to the eyes in a little bit. We'll create an eyelash and all that stuff. I don't wanna... Eyes always look a little weird when you don't have an eyelash, eyebrow, all that stuff. So we'll start to frame in on that a little more here in just a bit. All right, let's take a step back for a moment before we do anything. Make sure there's nothing here with the shape of the head. So I like to jump back and forth or jump all around as much as possible. And what that means, at least here, is, you know, I'll zoom in, I'll work on the lips for a little bit, and then I'll take a break. I'll zoom out and I'll say, okay, anything I want to change, anything I want to tweak here and keep playing with. Do I like the main shape of the head? Do I like the overall proportion? Sure, why not? Like, I think it's more about the actual facial features right now at this stage. One thing you can do to play around with some of these different ideas, you know, I said getting some more roundness in the face, so, you know, we could lower, or not lower, but raise up, I guess, the chin, giving a more round shape to the face. I think that starts to push a little too far in that direction, personally. So I think I'll just add some extra volume here to my cheeks. And I don't currently have too much going on here in terms of expression. Keeping things a little more neutral. We'll add some expression probably later on. And let's do a quick eyelash shape. Oh man, this is so stretched here. Do you guys see that? Look at that. That's nasty. Here. I'm gonna Dynamesh that, and I'll come back and remesh that later. I just wanted to get that out of the way. Alright. So, eyelash. Sorry. Duplicate the eyelid. Alright, let's get rid of this. Get rid of all the excess geometry. I like to just fill these in with black. And then just kind of pull them out a little. This has way too many polys in it. That's okay. That pull down on the cheek is making the face look a lot more young as well. We'll probably play with some proportions here to age up the character, but I'm glad that we got a lot of the round shapes that I was looking for. It's a matter of time. Alright, so I did Dynamesh on that face. That is helping the corners of the mouth down here quite a lot. Let's see if I can pull back on those a little more. Just a little more depth. Alright, so this shape right here starts to age up age down the character depending on what we do here with the roundness. So I'm gonna remesh the face, give us something easier to work with, and then we'll head into transpose master, push and pull some things around. All right. Oh, we got a little bit of a dent in the top of our head where our forehead is. We'll have to adjust that as well. This is why we rotate, move around as much as possible. See that little concavity right there? We'll get rid of that. So we are going to now project our history right back through. And now we have some subdifs to work with. And I'm only going to do that like a couple times there. Oh, that neck is really long, isn't it? That's fun. All right, let's go T-pose. All right, let's mess around with a few things here. I think the main thing we'll want to work on is the size of our eye cavity in relation to everything else. Size and proportion of our facial features can make things look older, younger. In here, we'll play a little bit with shape language. I think I'll pull down a little bit on the nose, the mouth. The more scrunched you make a face look, the more you're gonna head towards like anime, the more you're gonna head towards younger, a youthful appearance. Bigger ears can also make a character look a little more youthful, which isn't a bad thing, you know? I don't know if that's exactly the look I want right now. The more I've worked on this, the more I'm like, some round shape language is kind of working out in a cool way. I'm kind of enjoying that. Let's see if we can maybe play with that a little more. Started to lose that jawline a little too much. So, get a little jawline back. And I might have gone a little too small on the nose. Okay, let me fix that forehead while I'm here too. All right. Let's see if we can age the character a little. I'm thinking you know, we might actually be able to make the eyes a little bigger, but if we do that, I think I'm gonna have to scale up a few other areas too. Local sim here. Really want to make sure that these eyeballs are nowhere near each other. Once they fuse together, it's really difficult and annoying to unfuse them. Alright, I'm liking the direction there. Alright, I'll bake in like a little expression. Just make the character look a little more happy. At least for now. And what do we want to do with these eyebrows, guys? Eye shape is kind of boring. Let's see if we can exaggerate these corners, kind of pull them real sharp. With my eyes, I like to typically get like a nice kind of 1, 1, 2, you know, nice initial bump here, and then pull out to the outside corner. The higher you make that, the less tired your character is gonna look. You know, start to pull down on that, kind of where we had that. It starts to become a little droopy, a little more tired looking. Oops, it's to where we were. Gonna have to do all of that at the same time. All right. And this is why I have yet to merge down my eyelid, because I knew I would be messing with the eyes a lot. Eyes are incredibly important to the style and final design of your character. They're the first thing that people look at on your character's face. Instant kind of focal point. And if you have them looking bad or looking weird, it's going to be immediately something that people look at. So that's why, you know, I mentioned earlier with the alien phase, it's okay. It's not about, you know, what it looks like right now. It's about where you're going. So we'll keep tweaking and adjusting until we find something that we like. I kind of like that higher outside corner. I'm going to T-pose back real fast, and then we'll probably come back in here. I use Lazy Mouse for almost everything. Almost everything, yes. Lazy Mouse is a feature that you can use to make your brush stroke on something like a carving brush, typically is what you would use it on, a little more smooth. You can also use it to increase the steps of your brush so that you can get more samples. So you don't get like a drag dot brush stroke. That's not what you want. Sometimes you do want that though. Oh, whoops. All right. Okay. Getting a little too sunken in under the eyes, so we'll play with that. Most likely just going to remove this transitionary edge right here. It's just causing too much of a secondary form shift. So let me get rid of that entirely so I can see what I'm doing. Okay, pull through there. So I'm trying to tuck this into the actual corner of the eye. And then here, we're gonna make this real thin. We're gonna pull through, right through there. Okay. Let's turn off the eyelashes. Grab the upper eyelid and make some adjustments. Okay, eye shape. I'm liking the direction there a lot more from the 3/4. Still don't like too much of the shape over here, but that's okay. That's something we can play with. Let me delete this. Okay, right through here. Oh, whoops, wrong tool. There we go. I'm kind of liking that pull through, kind of coming down here towards the mouth. Okay. Some other things attributing to the sunken in feel. Start adding some volume here around the mouth corner. Okay, let's play with this nose a little. Right now it's really long, which is making it feel a little awkward. Okay, I really like to tuck this inner corner of the nose. Can get some cool effects there. It's a little too much, I think. Okay, I want just a little more volume coming down through here. Kind of separating that from the inner eyelid there. That is probably why your mouths don't come out the way you want, those sunken corners, or which part? Mouth can be difficult. I got a great quick video. It's like a 2-minute video on my YouTube channel on how to sculpt mouths. But what we're doing here is we're not trying to just sculpt any mouth. We're trying to find something that we like, you know? Something that fits the character. Something that we can experiment with. I think, you know, we got kind of a cute shape starting to come together. The line between beautiful and terrifying is a thin one. And the line between cute and creepy is narrow. Okay, I'm gonna force my geometry here. A little bit of a weird technique, but... Whoops, wrong way. This is something I do sometimes. So I'm pushing in. Why is my smooth brush being dumb? There we go. So I'm forcing my geometry to curve up like this. Man, my brush is like getting really dumb right now. I need to save. Okay, so I'm forcing my geometry in so that as I smooth it, it starts to curve in and get that concavity that I'm looking for. Just the lips in particular, yeah. Lips are, lips are really expressive, and that's why they're difficult. Same with eyes. Eyes are really expressive, and that is why they're difficult. Because little changes can make a very large impact. This edge down here, we can just fill in a lot of this information. I don't think we need to go too extreme down here. I think our chin might be a little too big. That's okay. It's an easy fix. Played around earlier with like rounding it out. That felt really, really odd to me. You know, when you are trying to create something, whether that be shape language or anything else, for me in this instance, a rounded shape language, I always recommend pushing something to the breaking point and then nudging it back. This is how you find a very nice level of exaggeration. So, specifically here with the chin, the jaw, I'm pushing on that, I'm pushing it up, I'm making it more narrow, and I'm trying to find where that just completely breaks and looks terrible compared to what we had. So I think we've already found roughly where that is, so let me start to find a nice jaw corner and then kind of pull back down, bigger jaw, and just play with that a little. Play with it from the side. And get a little more volume under the neck, because, you know, you can do this with stylized characters. I still like to have this plane kind of go in the right direction underneath the chin. From the side view, you're going to see more of that information kind of coming back. But depending on, you know, how stylized the character is, typically, you know, something more Disney, Pixar, etc., typically you want to keep the neck pretty thin. So the upper eyelid, we'll come back to the jaw in a little bit. I'm gonna play with the eye for a moment. Oh, there we go. I'm gonna pull this out slightly, just so I can get the eye reflecting off the lens. Okay, easy peasy. And I often like to hand paint my eyes. We haven't done any painting yet, but we can maybe look at that in a little bit. Okay. So for those just joining us and who haven't been following along, today we're experimenting, just kind of seeing what we can do. Started from a simple sphere, and now we're just kind of sculpting, playing around. This is from our last stream up here in the top left. If you're wondering why she's hovering over my face, that is why. We did the same thing last week, and we're pushing forward here on something new. I was playing around with like this rounded shape language. I don't, it's not too late to switch things up, go more angular, try to, go for something sharper. It's gonna look a lot worse before it looks better if we start heading in that direction. I don't mind, playing around though, experimenting, seeing what we can do in that direction. Let's shrink up that neck. Alright, just want to get that out of the way. Actually, that body doesn't really bother me too much. Alright, let's see. Let's go a little larger with the mouth. The mouth is such an expressive area. And I think I got a little too carried away with some of the shape here. So I'm going to simplify right through here. And I'm just using my pinch brush, my custom pinch brush that I have here, to define this plane. A little bit of clay, round it out. Lower lip's already rounded, that's fine. And then let's taper. Good old fundamental thick to thin. Taper in on that top lip. Okay? And then anytime you have things that are symmetrical, it's gonna feel awkward. So I think the maybe the lips can be a little bit proportionally different from top to bottom. Something like that. We'll play with it more. Got a little too carried away again. Trying to simplify some of that shape. And grab AccuCurve. Alright, that's fine for now. When doing this for animation, what do we keep in mind? I think that's going to be really dependent on the studio and the job that you are working on. You are going to get a list of what you need to provide for your client, or if you're working in a studio, for your pipeline. So there's going to be a lot of different things for every single character. And you're not going to be doing what I'm doing. I can guarantee that. You're not going to be just able to experiment and do whatever you want. So that's what we're doing here today. We're just experimenting. That's why, I'll play with the shape, with the face. We'll try something else, see what works, see what doesn't. But if you're working in a studio or on a particular project, you're going to get really strict guidelines on exactly what they want and exactly what you need to do. And that's going to be different for every job. Whoops. So, you might get something that says, here's the 2D artwork. We need you to create this character in 3D. Chop, chop. Get to it. Let us know when you're done. All right, profile, getting there. I'm liking the profile a lot more than what we had before. That's good. From the front, let's turn off perspective. We're looking a little, before we were very round. I'm starting to get a little more blocky with some of the shapes, which I don't dislike. But I think we can still maybe go like a little more sharp in a few areas. So for instance, the ears are really rounded. We haven't touched the ears in a solid moment, but just by giving them like gentle corners, it completely changes the feel of the silhouette of the character. We turn off our poly paint, just that silhouette there. So I kind of like that direction. It's getting some variation. Okay. Let's do a couple things to try to age up the face even more. My eyebrows at. Okay, I'm gonna start lowering the brow, not to make the character look angry, but to, mentioned earlier, a higher brow can obviously make a character look surprised, but can also make a character look younger. That's why with a lot of cartoony styles, anime, you'll often see a very large distance between top of eyelid and bottom of eyebrow. Okay. And I want to play with pulling out over here. Kind of sharpening. Not sharpening, but what's the word? Kind of angling, like down, coming out, and then turning a little faster. Pointed. And right now, you'll notice my eyebrows are just a simple black shape, so this is just to work on figuring out how that's gonna look and feel. I'm actually gonna go in here real quick and delete a bunch of loops. Just so I can manipulate this a little easier. All right, let me give this a quick bevel, edge loop. Just keep or retain that sharp corner. Okay. Keep tweaking. Let's move the eyes a little closer together and adjust the proportions there. A little bit of a larger eye gap than what I want. Oh, you know what? Here. Let me delete that. That is my mistake. The material's messed up. That's okay. Just need to get that roughly in place. The eyelash was not turned on there, which is why we did not see it here. Okay. Okay, we're gonna go slightly smaller. Just trying to grab the side of the head here. Okay. Need to grow my mask out. Just hardening and softening my mask very gently here. Okay, not too much. This is going to narrow out the face, get rid of some of that roundness that I had created earlier. If anything, this will be an exercise in taking something that's very rounded and starting to sharpen it up and age it before our very eyes. Which is kind of a fun exercise, not what I intended here today, but that's why we're here. We're here to experiment. We're here to try out new things. We're here to learn. I don't learn by doing the same thing all the time, which is why I never sculpt like the same character twice, you know? And, you know, I've done like the same character twice, but I don't make them look the same. I feel like there's so much to learn, and I was in it learning, but from a while I feel like my work is very low as compared to other artists. Feels like there's nowhere to go, and I jump from reference to reference. Well, keep in mind that, you know, every artist that you look up to and that you admire is going through and goes through often what you're feeling right now. You know, comparison is the art of self-defeat. Art is very, very difficult. It takes a long time. Whatever you think it takes in terms of time and effort, multiply it by 10. Art is very, very hard. That doesn't mean give up or stop, you know, working on your dream or what you want to, you know, improve at. You know, if you want to work in the art industry, if that's why you're doing it, you know, make sure that you love what you're doing, is what I always say. Because if you don't love the process of creating right now, then, you know, you might be in the wrong field. I'll be honest. You know, it sounds cool. A lot of people, I think, want to get into the video game industry. And I'll be honest, I have never wanted to work in the video game industry. I have worked on video games professionally. I do not envy artists that work in the video game industry. It is a very difficult industry, one, to break into, and two, to continue to work in. They're very hard on their employees, and they know that they can be hard on their employees because of how competitive the industry is. It is a rough, difficult industry. Ask anybody who has or is working in it. And that does not mean, like I said, that if that is your dream, if you want to work in animation, if you want to work in games, if you want to work in toys, which is most of my professional background and experiment, sculpting for physical toys and for museums and amusement parks, life-size characters, all sorts of stuff like that. So I have a lot of sculpting experience. But, you know, if that's what you want to do, just understand it's going to take a long time. It's going to take a while. It's not an easy thing. Nothing easily gained is worth having. That's why, you know, you see, it's really, I think, kind of sad to see a lot of people getting into art right now that are saying things like, hey, like, should I be doing this? Like, you know, there's AI image generators now. Like, you know, it's just making artists obsolete, yada, yada, yada. It's not making me obsolete. I still love creating art. I still love teaching people how to create art. If you're just in it for a final image, if that's all you're here for, you might be in the wrong industry. Like, you gotta love the process of what you're doing. Or else, by the time you finally do get that professional job, and you sit down on your first day of work, and you hate it, oh man, that is a terrifying awakening that you are going to experience. That sucks. I don't envy that person at all. And I hope that that doesn't happen to, you know, anybody here or anybody at all. That's rough. But art is hard. Art is a long journey, but it is a fun journey, I will say. If you love what you do, I really love sculpting. I love drawing. I love painting. I really enjoy just doing it. And if I never made another dollar from art, I would still do art. Why? Because I love doing art. It's so much fun. I love the process of creating. It is my hobby. It is my job. It's what I love doing. Oh, material's all messed up still. Gotta love the creation process. You don't have to. You can dislike it and do it, but I think you're going to go a lot further if you do enjoy it. It's like, why are you doing it if you don't like it? Like, I mean, I understand maybe you're in school or you got aspects of your job, of your work that you dislike. That's okay. Everybody's got that. There are aspects of my job that I don't like. That's okay. It's totally normal. Like if I just hated sculpting, I'd be, what am I doing? Why do I do this? If I just don't like it, man, that's rough. Where'd my eyebrows go? All right. Let's take a break from looking at our face and we'll come back to it in a little bit. Where are we? There we go. All right, I'll come look at that here in a minute. We're gonna rest our eyes, just play around, maybe answer some questions while we hang out. All right. Some eye resting and some water drinking. All right. Talked about in the last stream a lot about, burnout and how that's different from, taking a break. What I'm doing right now is I'm resting my eyes from looking at the same thing for a really long time, because the longer you look at something, the more your eyes get used to it. You can't quite see the same mistakes that you might normally notice. That's why if you put a piece down for a day and then come back to it the next day, you're gonna notice a million new things to, tweak and fix on it. Most of the time, if you're experienced, if you have the experience and you know what you're doing. Even if you don't, you'll probably still notice some stuff. But that's what I'm doing right now. And that is way different than burnout. Somebody was asking last stream about, how you can overcome burnout as compared to, taking a quick break. And I always recommend take some time to reassess, what you're, like the time that you would spend sculpting, the time that you would spend drawing or whatever you're interested in. Just take some time to reassess what you're doing. Try to ask yourself some important questions about, why you're feeling the way you are. Because if you keep going at the same pace and just try to push through something, you're probably gonna fail, I'll be honest. Because you're not gonna get rid of that feeling. You got that burnt out feeling. It's not gonna go away just from a short rest. There's something fundamentally going on that you need to figure out. So I always say, take a break. Try to figure out what that thing is. Fun sometimes to just get messy with stuff. Sculpt all over. See if you can create anything interesting. Try out some new ideas. I like to sometimes just grab a random brush. One of the Lightbox clay brushes and just kind of go ham. See if I can create anything new. But there's a reason why I use the brushes that I do. That's because I like them a lot. I've adjusted them to work really well with my process and my workflow. Anyway, there's some quick lips. A little messy, but hey, quick lips. That's what we got. Lips on a sphere. we got a thin upper lip, a thick lower lip. Beautiful. All right. It's enough eye resting. I think we go back to the sculpt and keep playing with it. What's going on, Wilbert? Any tips for finishing projects instead of starting new ones? Asking for a friend. I mean, I've definitely struggled with that myself. I think it's something that a lot of people struggle with, though. Constantly see the meme of, like, what is it? Like, you open up your folder and you got just like, or your folder on your desktop and you just got a million unfinished projects. And it's like, yeah, but this new project, this one looks so fun. I don't know. I think there's something to be said for quantity over quality. And I don't think that an unfinished project is necessarily a bad thing. I think you can still learn a lot from starting a lot of projects and not finishing them. Kind of like doing sketches, you know, in 2D. Or I sketched out some lips here in a minute. Now I'm just kind of noodling with them. I'm not really making them better or worse. Wait, sorry. Beautiful lips. So I'm not, I'm not like doing anything crazy new with these lips, but am I better at sculpting lips for making these? Maybe marginally, maybe like a tiny bit, messed around with a few things. Maybe I saw some ideas or some techniques I liked. I don't really do this a ton, but I use backface masking to like inflate my lips a little. And I'm like, oh yeah, that kind of is like something I should do a little more to give some lips some volume. So maybe I can take that idea back to the sculpt I was just making. So I don't know. I don't necessarily think it's objectively a bad thing to have all these unfinished projects. I personally think you should be working on, if we're talking about like personal projects, you should be working on and creating exactly what you want to be working on and creating. And if that means starting a bunch of projects and like going a little bit into them, playing around, having some fun with them, and then kind of petering out, that's totally fine. That's cool. It's not the end of the world, I don't think that's so bad. It's not the worst thing in the world. At least you're still working on stuff and creating, trying out some new stuff. But like, I think something that can be really helpful is taking a break. And if you come back to it later and you're still like, nah, I'm good, whatever, move on to something else. It's not worth it. But if we're talking about work, maybe that's a little different. Can't really say, whatever, when you got a deadline or other people counting on you, right? That's quite a bit different. So maybe not the best advice, guys. But I think there's something to be said for quantity over quality. Just doing lots of experimentation, playing around with different ideas. What's the worst that's gonna happen? You end up not liking what you create? Who cares? Move on to, the next thing. It's not going anywhere. Have some fun, experiment around. If you're not doing anything right now, maybe open up ZBrush, Blender, whatever you like to use. Play around, just do some noodling. Experiment. Maybe you want to try doing some round shapes like I did. Something else. It's whatever. All right, I do see some changes I would like to make that I would like to play around with. after taking a short break. I think the main thing I want to do is just actually take the proportion of my character's eyes and drastically reduce their scale. Oh, whoops. Make sure that symmetry's on. Let me hide my eyebrows as well. So, the larger shape is making it a little difficult for me to age up the character. And that's okay. If I want to age up the character more, I might simply need to, take a step back, remove some of the information that I've created here. Try some quick plane changes to try to age up the character as well. I don't want to make too big of a tweak here though. My eyes are so large. Yeah, this is what I was worried about. My eyes are so large in here that I'm actually sculpting on them and kind of breaking them a little bit. I'll see if I can fix that here in a moment. You gotta be careful with transpose master when you're working on everything at the same time. It's really easy to kind of mess some stuff up. You know what? If we end up not liking the character that we're working on, it's not a big deal. We just move on to the next thing. Part of experimentation is failing. But I'm pretty sure we can do something here. Alright, let's fix our materials, reapply some of these. Alright, so we're definitely aging up the character by making the eyes smaller. Gonna tweak some more proportions. I'm gonna keep perspective off for a little bit. I'm a big fan of your wonderful artwork. Thank you for your step-by-step live sculpting. Of course. I'm glad that you could come and hang out. Glad to have you. I really enjoy doing these little sculpting experiments. I'm glad you guys enjoy watching them. They're fun to do. You never know what you're gonna do, when you're experimenting around. For our last face, I think we played around in this stage for quite a long time, actually. I think most of our time was spent here kind of doing this stuff. Which, can be boring, but I actually find this kind of thing fun. Okay, just trying to lower jaw there. Okay, we're gonna retuck the jaw corners, start to round things back out, because we're starting to get a little too sharp in the jawline. So if you look at that from the front there, if you can see 1, 2, that angle gives it a more masculine rhythm. So 1, here, I'll just exaggerate it real quick. Like that. It's like the, what's the meme? Chad, the Chad meme? It's like the Chad meme. So instead what we do is we take that corner of the jaw and we tuck it in. And we add some more volume around here and we start to round it out. And then we're probably going to, we might want to round the eye, or sorry, not round, increase the scale of the eyes back out to match the proportion of the nose and mouth. But let me see here. Let's see if we can find some sharp shape language for something to play around with. I like to look on ArtStation, see if I can find any examples of an idea I have, something that I want to play around with. Nothing's really catching my eye right now, though. So I don't know. I think I'll just keep playing. I didn't hate the rounded shape language that we had earlier. Just thought we could maybe go a different direction. Because I kind of did a more rounded shape language character here. Not particularly like with a focus on rounded shape language. That's just kind of what happened. I don't know. We'll keep playing. Keep experimenting. Alright, I say we start adding some other additional features here. So let's take a break from that. Grab our head and start to create some simplistic hair. Let me find some kind of hairstyle though. Something. Just look up hair on ArtStation. See if we can find anything. Pinterest is also really great if you just want to look up some quick hairstyles. I think I would like to do some shorter hair because long hair might take a while. And I know that in our last stream we did long hair, so maybe, well, not long hair, shoulder length. That's fine. We'll call that long hair, sure. All right. So to start off, just start with basic shape here. Select, delete hidden. All right. Okay, we're gonna delete this ear. And we're gonna turn this into essentially a base for our hair. And what kind of hair color we want? Something blondish, whitish. We did bright red. We originally had a darker color, so I'm thinking something lighter this time for our hair. Okay, we'll remesh on that. And then start working on some hair strands. So what I like to do is use the curved tube brush a lot of the time. It can be a really great way to start working on the basic shapes for your hair. Just the same way you would block out anything else for a face. Let's go a little lower there. And then we'll start refining those shapes after we get in a few of them. So let's start with that. That's good for a quick base. And you can round that out, but that's just gonna sit on top just like that. Make a few adjustments here to the shape. That's fine. All right. So now I'm gonna grab my curved tube snap brush. This is just a default brush in ZBrush, and now I'm gonna start playing around here. Let me also turn on Down here, size. And we'll just make sure that that tapers. Okay. And one more is the intensity down to about half. That'll make it a little more flat. It's fine by me. Okay. Okay, I'm just going to create something that kind of frames the face a little bit here. And when doing this, you just want to create really quick basic shapes just like you would block out a head or a body, anything else. And the goal is not to get it, in this absolute perfect state right away, but rather to just kind of get a really quick basic idea down. Oh, whoops. Trying to grab this so I can delete it. There we go. Okay, some like pigtails or something. Cute idea. Play around with it a bit more. Maybe move this forward a little. Something like that. And then I like the idea of having these be a little more thick. And maybe not quite as long here either. Something like that. Don't want them to look like too crazy big though. Or you know what? Actually, well, that's kind of going into the ear, isn't it? We'll play with that. Let's start trying to do this. There we go. Alright, we'll Dynamesh that because it's so stretched. So I want to work on this piece first just because it's kind of framing the silhouette, and silhouette is really important to me. What is going on? Oh my god. Alright, let's undo on that. Take a step back. That was a little weird. What's going on here? Let me lower this. Ah, I think dynamics on. Okay, there we go. That was a little weird, but I think that was dynamic freaking out. If you ever have some lag, you most likely have dynamic subdivs turned on. Pretty easy to turn them off. Just go down into your tool menu, under geometry, dynamic subdiv, and just make sure that that is untoggled. Or detoggled or not toggled, whatever the word is. Whatever the, you know what I'm saying. You're picking up what I'm putting down. Avoid the lag. Dynamic is very nice though. You just make sure that you're not using it with actual subdivs as well, or with Dynamesh. No reason to be doing that. That would be ridiculous. Ridiculous. Hair looks a little green. Let's go a little more towards warm. Kind of whitish hair. It's kind of cool. Okay. For these front pieces, let's just grab one. Grab back face masking. Try to thicken up. Play with the shape a little. This middle one, I'll probably... Obviously, that's a little too awkwardly symmetrical in the front, so we'll want to play with that. And play with the proportion here. Okay, this will also help us figure out the character a little more for what we want to do. You know, when you're experimenting, we're kind of moving forward a little, not necessarily directionless, but with less direction than we would have if we're working on another project or directly from a reference. So here with something like this, we can start to figure out the character a little more. What kind with the hairstyle? Hair's a great way to do that. Something like that. Okay, let's grab some additional volume here. Okay, the hair is pulling toward the ponytail. That's what a ponytail is. That's what a braid is. Or the pigtails in this case, not ponytail. Same thing. Just two of them. So the hair is pulling toward that. It's going to be cinched, and then kind of play with that a little more here in just a minute. Every time I'm working on hair, I want to get something that breaks up the silhouette. So any way that we can do that. I kind of like the basic little shapes here that I have for the front of the hair. Just the way that's framing the face. If I can take one of those and just flip it around, give her a little sprout, whoop, something like that. I'll play with that. And obviously, we don't want it to be perfectly symmetrical, super boring, so I'll leave that there for now. We'll come back to it. Let's play with these. And all we're going to do on the hair now is just jump around, you know? Try to work on as many different aspects of it as we can. This is so clean. So clean. Clean, clean, clean. If you haven't watched my recent video on clean shapes, please go do. The word clean just loses all meaning. But thank you. Appreciate the kind words. All right. Something like that, maybe. Whoops. Just want to thicken this up. So we're going from something that, you know, especially with hair, most of the time you're going from thick to thin. So as that kind of pulls down, it's going to start to narrow out. Something like that. Yeah, sure. Let me just thicken it this way. I don't really like to have these gaps here. Okay. And I don't really like how that's breaking the silhouette like quite as much as it is, so I'm gonna give the hair more volume, and that'll help to kind of blend all of this up top together. Okay, cool. Always learning something new watching you. Well, thank you. Yeah, I think, you know, digital sculpting is a big, complex system, topic, whatever you want to call it. And there's always something new to learn and play around with. And that's not even including, like, new additions to the software. I'm just talking, like, new ideas, techniques, stuff like that. There's always a ton to play around with. Let's get some layering with this hair. Just giving that some more thickness so that it actually kind of looks like it's subducting under it. And I'll just do like a couple quick brush strokes. That's fine. And then this middle piece, this is kind of like a fun shape. Kind of like what's going on there. But obviously we don't want it to be perfectly symmetrical, right? So what I will do here is probably just like push it over to one side a little. And then I'll duplicate it. And for the other side, I'll just like make it way more narrow. And then just kind of layer them on top of each other, you know? Something like that. And then we're going to make sure that that center line, where they're kind of splitting, we're going to make sure that that is not perfectly in the middle as well. Okay, just a couple brush strokes on that. A couple brush strokes here. And we're just keeping this rough. Whoops. Okay, just want to taper that a little more. Okay, one more I think, and we'll just kind of put it on top here. How many years have you been working with stylized models? I've been sculpting for about 10 years. I think this will be my 10th year of sculpting. Hold on a sec. There we go. So I've been sculpting in ZBrush for, I think, about 10 years, yeah. Actually, yeah, I think that's right. I believe so. But I've been sculpting in ZBrush at a professional level for about 8 years. So I went from almost zero artistic background to being a working professional in a very short amount of time. And I did that by doing way too much practice. What I can only call way too much. An unhealthy amount. Not something I would particularly recommend, but hey, it did, got the job done, I guess. Alright, something like that. It's a little too clean. I need to break up the shape more, but I like the basic idea. It's kind of what I'm looking for right now, just basic idea. So let's keep playing. What can I do in order to improve my character's anatomy? Practice, buy some of my courses, practice some more. Should do it. Pretty simple process to get better, if I'm being honest. I make the courses and educational content for a reason. It's there for you guys. Check it out at the link below. It's literally why I make it. Lots of people, and I'm not saying this is you, I've been doing this for a long time. Somebody just asked how long I've been sculpting, like around 10 years. So I've been doing this for a long time. And I went from almost zero artistic experience to being a full-time digital sculptor working in the industry in less than 2 years. I did that about a decade ago. And I'm not saying that this is you or anybody here, but so many people I see. They want to know, how do I get better? How do I improve? But so rarely did I see, and still to this day, like I said, I've been doing this a long time, do I see the people that are willing to put in the work. It's after a while I kind of stopped caring, but it's still frustrating to see so many people who, I don't want to say they're lazy, because I don't think they are, but I think art is like this weird thing where art has this misconception that it's different than other things, that you either have to be born with artistic talent or something, right? But it's not true. Art is not magic, it's not special, it's just like anything else. You want to get stronger? Exercise, lift weights, right? It's pretty obvious. You want to lose weight? Exercise, eat less. There's no magic bean or whatever that's gonna make you lose weight. Short from something that's gonna make you completely lose your appetite, or stomach cinching or whatever. Let's grab our music bag. There we go. Art is no different, right? It's just a matter of time, guys. If you feel like you're not where you want to be, keep working. I promise you will get there. I promise. It is a really, really simple formula, but it is a slow, long formula. It is not going to happen overnight. You put in the work, I promise you will get better. It is really that simple. But when you're in there, when you're grinding, it feels like you're not going anywhere sometimes. But that's okay. You're still going somewhere. You're still moving. You're still improving. You can fail. The one thing you can't fail at, though, the final failure, right? Giving up, quitting. That is the one thing you can't do. Because then, there's no coming back from that. Don't give up. Keep going, guys. Come on. I believe in you. Look, if I can do it, come on. Hey, if I can do it, anybody can do it. I'm not special. I'd say the only thing I feel like I'm maybe a little special in is that I'm not afraid to fail in front of other people. If I could say I have one superpower, I'd say that that's my superpower. I started sculpting, and after 2 years, I started working professionally in the industry. I wasn't necessarily an amazing sculptor, but I was still sharing stuff online, showing off my work, and a lot of it was embarrassing. Even from the very beginning, I was sharing my process, whatever I could, just to show off what I was doing, try to share some of the knowledge that I was gaining. I'm still doing that to this day. That's why I do live streams like this. That's why I make educational content. Just gotta keep going. No secret. It's just that. But like I said, I'm not afraid to fail. I've always been sharing that stuff. Heck, I started a second YouTube channel, Drawbly, right? If you guys haven't checked out my other YouTube channel, you absolutely should. Why? Because I'm doing it again. I'm learning how to draw. That's right. Before I started my second YouTube channel, Drawbly, I didn't really draw, ever. Here. Where are we at? Come here, Chrome. Pop on over here. Follygon's still live streaming? Oh my gosh. Check it out, Drawbly. If you guys have not checked out my second YouTube channel, look at this. It's just a little baby YouTube channel. We've been almost 400 videos. Look at all these videos. Look at this painting. Look at this painting right here. Is this an amazing painting? No, it's not an amazing painting, but I don't care. I'm not afraid to fail. Part of failure is learning. I mean, that's what failure is, in essence. That's what all these videos are. Me and my wife, actually, Abby, we've been learning to draw together. It's a lot of fun, and we do it because we love it. We don't do it because we're making money from it, because we're not. We do it because it's really fun to do. And I love creating art. I love learning to draw. I love learning more about sculpting. I love creating. That's why I do it. And if from making those videos and from making, you know, this kind of stuff here where I'm live streaming or any of my bigger 2D to 3D videos, any of that, if that gets like one person interested in art, or if that gets one person willing to keep going, keep pushing on art, I mean, that's worth it, right? I think that's worth it. When I started sculpting, I would have killed for a YouTube channel like my YouTube channel that I have right now. Just to have somebody who's sharing educational content that's like, you know, gone through the process, that's willing to talk about failure, that's willing to go on a live stream and just chill for a few hours, answer questions. I would have loved that. Honestly, when I made my YouTube channel, I think there was like one other digital sculpting channel at the time. There was not a lot. There were no video tutorials. You know what there was? There were books. That's what I did. Grab some books. Learned ZBrush from some books. And then, like a little bit into me sculpting ZBrush, Pixelogic, they started releasing the Z Classroom videos. If anybody remembers those, I don't think they really do any of those anymore, but they were a little helpful in the beginning, but most of the stuff from those is really basic, and it was, you know, stuff that I learned right away. You know, ZBrush is complex. Sculpting is complex. Digital sculpting even more so. It's a very technical thing. It's not easy. There's a lot to learn. I like this shape. I want to play with the scale of it, the proportion of it, if you will. I haven't worked on any animated shorts. I've worked on toys. I've worked on life-size figures for amusement parks. Mostly toys. I've worked on Clash of Clans was like one of the last big projects I did for somebody else. Now I work for myself, which is, not gonna lie, much more enjoyable. It's what we call dedication. Heck yeah. Do the work, it's like any other skill. Absolutely. Art's not magic. Although sometimes it looks like it, feels like it. The first time you try it, it might feel like it. That's for sure. Wow. Alright, let's raise these up on the head a little higher. Let's like go wider here. I don't want to go too wide. I want to break the, How about some, maybe more like that? Because I want to break the silhouette, but I was just kind of feeling weird. I like that a lot more. Alright. Cool. I'll angle those back a little too. Much better. Okay. That's kind of what I was looking for. Something that broke this silhouette, but didn't look and feel quite as weird as the direction we were heading in. Yeah, I agree. That's the key to the learning process. If you don't enjoy it, maybe find something else. Gotta find your passion. It's true. I've been really into bouldering lately. I went this morning, actually. So for those unfamiliar, bouldering is like rock climbing, but instead of having a rope and climbing to the top of a really tall wall, I just spit all over my Cintiq. Sorry, Cintiq. And sorry for you guys watching. I'm sure that was fun. Gave you a little bath. But instead of going to the top of a really tall wall, it's shorter walls with more challenging technical problems. And that is something that's really fun for me. It's a really great workout. It's really gamified because there are levels to the routes, right? They're called V levels, V1, V2, V3. So you can actually see your improvement. It's super fun to finally, you've been working on your V1 so long, and then you can do a V2, and it's like, yes, new skill unlocked, V2. They're very gamified in that way. I really enjoy that. If you don't have if you're an artist, I would highly recommend that you find some kind of exercise, some kind of workout that you really enjoy, especially as an artist, because we spend so much time sitting down, hanging out in chairs. That's not healthy. There's no way it's healthy. Spend so much time in front of a computer screen. Find something, Find something that works for you. Like I said, I really enjoy bouldering. I've actually been doing a little bit of CrossFit. My wife's gotten into CrossFit lately. And I find that really fun too. Kicks your butt, but in a good way. What just happened? Oh. Have I done a tutorial on making hair braids? Mesh does not contain polygons on a major... What'd that say? What? What are you doing, ZBrush? Major symmetrical side remeshing aborted? Why would that matter? That was weird. That was a very odd error. It was saying that because I didn't have polygons over here on the what's called the major side in ZBrush, that it wasn't going to remesh it. Very odd. Sorry. Making hair braids. Hair braids. I do have 2 hair tutorials on my Gumroad. I don't remember off the top of my head. I think I do 3 different hairstyles in one. Can't remember off the top of my head if I do braids, but the process for it would be very similar. Like if you're looking at, the shapes that I'm creating here and you're like, oh, I want to learn how to make shapes like that, then that is what you will want to check out. Very similar. Alright, so sometimes some hair can help you, I was saying earlier, help you figure out the direction you want to go. I think we're getting there. It's a slow process, right? Especially when you're trying to create something completely new. And I'm going to be honest, I am not someone that is good at designing characters. I am not a concept artist by any means. It's something that I am working on and something I want to practice and get better at because it's really, really fun. I really enjoy doing that. It's so cool to, create an original character that, obviously everything is a rehash of everything else, but I think it's really fun to create something that you can say is like completely your own. I really enjoy kind of experimenting with that in 2D and drawing as well. I've been kind of just enjoying that process in general lately. And that's something I'm trying to get better at. So, I'm not a character design master by any means. But in terms of making appealing forms in 3D, I can say that I do know quite a bit about that. I've been teaching it for quite a long time. This looks amazing. How often do you practice sculpting? I don't really practice sculpting all that often. But I sculpt fairly often. I would, in fact, call myself a digital sculptor. Been a professional digital sculptor for quite a long time. What makes a professional different than a non-professional? Professional makes their living from the thing. Been making my living from digital sculpting for about 8 years. All right, so what can we do to make this hair more interesting? How about a gradient? Gradients are cool. It kind of looks like a, what's her name? Harley Quinn now. Oh no, we're making Harley Quinn. We didn't even know it. That's okay. Let's, here, let me do a quick toggle on some stuff. All right, I am fine with that direction. I'm gonna take a break from working on the hair now. Been working on the hair for so long. Not really that long. I mostly worked on the face. I should have started the hair a long time ago, because honestly, like I said, it's a great way to start figuring out the direction you want to go with a face. And I'm gonna be honest, if you can make a character that looks good bald, looks good without hair, if you can make a character that looks good without eyebrows or eyelashes, you are doing something right. If you can make a character beautiful without eyebrows, eyelashes, or hair, you are solid. That is a very difficult task. It's something that I really aim to do. I will sit and sculpt on a character without hair for a long time, as many of you know and have seen here today, as I worked on this character for quite a long time. Before adding any hair, before really adding any even facial features. Worked on those early proportions, tried to figure out the main idea. So now we're a lot closer. I think we've come a long way. The hair definitely helps give this a little more of a direction, a little more character. I still think there's a lot though, a lot that we could play around specifically with on the face. I would like to do a quick bit of clothing for the torso, the little body down there. Just something to kind of terminate it a little better. Because right now it's just a quickly stretched out sphere. Feels pretty weird. I'm trying to really quickly fix this top lid. I'll take just a moment here. Un momento, por favor. Chotto matte kudasai. 毎日日本語練習しています。I'm practicing my Japanese every day, every morning. Mostly kanji right now. Going to Japan in November. It's been a long time since I've been to Japan. But I really like Japanese, and I really like studying Japanese. That's another thing that I like doing. Talking about passions. In high school and in college, until early college, I'll say, I hated taking languages, practicing languages. I think that's because I didn't find a language that I really liked to practice and study. But Japanese is really fun. It's a cool language. I think my opinion on kanji has changed slightly since I started, but kanji still kind of sucks. It's cool though. It's cool. It's cool to see the etymology of a word directly in the kanji. I enjoy that. But other than that, Japanese, man. It's a hard language for a dumb American like myself. Only if I knew Mandarin or Korean already. Kanji could be so much easier. I think, art in general is a competitive field, so I'd say in general, for most people, probably yeah, but, if you're good at what you do, not at all. But if you're like thinking about getting into art or getting into digital sculpting, it's definitely a competitive field. And in that regards, I would say it's a little difficult. Does this have thickness on it? It does not. I was trying to figure out what was going on here. It's like, why can't I see this thing from like almost every angle? It's because it's one-sided. Boom, thickness. Much easier. All right, let's add some more form, and then said I'd mess with the eyes a little longer, and then we'll go down to the body like I promised. Do some stuff down there. Mostly just some quick clothing. All right, just changing the angle slightly here for the eyelash. So starting to curl it up. Just give it a little extra form. Pretty boring shape without it. And this is a super simple shape. I mean, really basic, just plain. And I just have dynamic subdivs turned on, smoothing that out. I'll grab the Z modeler brush. I'll do a quick few, whoops, not inset, insert. Thank you. Just do a couple few edge loops right through here and here. Keep that nice and sharp. Retain that edge. You could bevel it, whatever you want to do. That's fine. I'm okay with that. Okay. I'll soften the transition between the lid and the eye cavity in a little bit. Let me do something for clothing. What do we want to do for clothing? Let's do... I want to avoid any Harley Quinn-esque outfits. Because this kind of randomly started looking like Harley Quinn, I think. Not intentionally. Let's check out Pinterest. See what we can find. Maybe some like... I did something really simple over here. Do like a collar. Can play around with some other ideas. Maybe like a little turtleneck. Anything you can do to... There's many different ways to do this, but to keep your head separate from your body, often it's good to hide the transitionary edge from the neck down into that, whatever shape you have going on down there. So I could, how about like a simple turtleneck, something like that. So for that, just always, if you can, repurpose what you have. So in this case, I'm gonna repurpose my character's neck. And for the color, Steve Jobs, right? We know him, we love him. The classic black turtleneck, right? I don't know. We'll just play around with something. Doesn't really matter. So she's actually not gonna have a body. She's just gonna be turtleneck. Turtleneck girl. Okay. And for this shape, let's, I sliced that so I can just remesh it without grabbing a group loops on something. So that should give us some clean geo to quickly play with. Weirdly distributed the polys up top. I guess I was wrong. That's okay, we got it that time. Okay. And something I'm gonna do here is take this top little loop section and just inflate it. Kind of accentuate the neck hole. Neck hole? Is that what that's called? There's gotta be a better name than neck hole. Opening? I don't know. Alright. So I'm just gonna like inflate, round this out. Give that a little extra interest. Down here, what we can do is a small bevel, and then you can take that section and extrude it. Somebody was asking about, you know, Z-Modeler and hard surface stuff. If you need a tutorial, or you're interested in learning more, Gumroad link down below. Check it out. What do we want? We want a loop. There we go. Okay, see how that gives that a little extra form, kind of like a seam line or something like that. Okay. Oh, whoops. Let me undo. Didn't have symmetry on. I want to keep that symmetrical for the time being so that if I want to manipulate and continue to make changes, I want that to be symmetrical. Okay? Cool. All right, now let's fill in the color and material there. And let's continue to exaggerate. This still feels, you know, dainty, small. Let's inflate it. Make it bigger. Come on. Inflate it till it breaks. Push it till it doesn't work anymore. Okay, I'm just gonna merge these together. Well, you've spent all that time making that clean geometry. Oh, who cares? All right, so this is just a simple bust. You can choose to terminate your character busts however you want. You know, this is just a, you know, simple shape. You can play around with some different ideas. Could maybe do like a, we could do maybe like a little jacket or something over top of this. So, something like this. Yeah, okay. Turn that off for a sec. Okay, we'll delete that. And I'm just gonna make this red so I can see it for a sec. Orangish red. And let's play with that shape for a moment. Koopa Troopa Beach! Heck yeah, man. Gotta get all the Nintendo songs in here. Who doesn't love Nintendo music? Come on. Plus, it's copyright free. so YouTube won't wreck my videos. YouTube loves to wreck people's videos, specifically mine. All right. How do I want to do a quick collar? Let's do... Collars can be a little annoying, more than a little annoying if I'm being honest. Let's try just cutting out some shapes. Okay. Something like that. Doesn't quite look like a jacket collar yet, but give it a sec. Oh man, this geometry. This geometry's getting twisted. Yeah. After you, if you are using extrude like I am through Z-Remesher, make sure you're checking to see if your geometry is flipped or inverted after every time. It most likely is. And, oh, whoops, that's not what I wanted. Wrong piece of geometry. Can I give you sculpting tips? What tips on what? You're gonna have to be more specific than that. Yeah, always toggle double, but if it's flipped or inverted, you still need to flip it, because you're not gonna be able to use a lot of features, and later on down the road, it's probably gonna cause you a lot of issues. Most likely. Not always, but most likely. Go for like, still too saturated. Man, that is like ultimate saturation, no matter what I do. Alright, I just want to keep this simple here. I don't like to spend a ton of time here at the end working on clothing that doesn't really matter too much. Yeah, toggle off. Check those normals. Those normies, as we call them in the industry. Normies. Gotta keep the normies straight. It's kind of going for like a flared collar thing here, but nah. Kind of lame. Not really working out the way I wanted it to. Head in way. Need move head. There we go. Alright. I was trying to do like some kind of, nah, flared collar, but it's kind of weird. I don't know if it matches the shape of, I don't want it to look like vampiric or anything. Or do I? All right, a little more cleanup here to the clothing, and we'll move back up to the face, do some tweaks, play with some stuff. Dang, it is already 5 o'clock. Try to do a little more here. Try to be quick, a little faster. Yeah, I don't really like that. This song goes a little too hard for Nintendo, I think. It's just, it's too hype, too exciting for a chill live stream. I just came here to chill and sculpt, and then got this 400 BPM song. I think this is a Mario Kart song. Alright, I'm a big fan of any time you can break the silhouette, but here it's... I want to downplay the clothing. The clothing is not meant to be a focal point at all. Oops. There we go, just paint one side. Coconut Mall, that's correct. That is correct. I knew I could count on you, Purple. Knows all the Nintendo jams. That was bait. You actually fell for it. I knew you couldn't resist. Gotta flex the Nintendo knowledge. But I'm glad that you're here to flex that Nintendo knowledge for me, because I couldn't remember the song off the top of my head. Kumu has a really great version of that song. Kumu does Q-U-M-U. It's a great YouTube channel with Nintendo music. Not covers, but I guess remixes. That's what I'd call them. If you're a Nintendo music enjoyer, like myself. Sure. That works. Something quick. Something simple. Doesn't need to be complex. Just needs to be. Silva Gunner? Is that another YouTube channel? Silva Gunner? Got some cool mixes on there. I'm surprised that they can upload that stuff to YouTube. Nintendo Music is actually copyright free on YouTube, which is why I use Nintendo Music so much, because I was sick of constantly finding music that claimed to be copyright free and I would put it in my videos. I seriously, from, wasn't my last live stream, but the live stream before that, I think I got like 50 copyright infringements on that live stream. Maybe more. And that was a playlist that said copyright-free music that I found on Spotify that was really popular. It had like a ton of people following it. Ton of plays. Maybe just for Twitch. I don't know. I don't know if Twitch is different. The way that stuff works. I don't do Twitch. But yeah, gotta love the copyright claims on every single video I upload. So that's why we got lots of Nintendo stuff, because they're nice. Papa Nintendo, they used to swing that hammer harder than anybody else, but now they're, you know, quite a bit more chill, quite a bit more cool. You know what? Let's try some pointy ears. Who doesn't like pointy ears? They gotta be good pointy ears though. I can't be sloppy. It'll feel maybe a little less Harley Quinn from The Matrix with some pointy ears. Said I wanted some pointy shape language. Let's try it out. YOLO. What's the worst that can happen? I hit undo. We got undos for a reason. I actually don't really undo that often. Too slow. Just charge forward. You don't like something, keep playing with it. Keep tweaking it. Undos are helpful only for like severe mistakes. Make like a really big mistake. Always got undos there for you. Longer ears. Hold on, sorry. I'm using the wrong brush. There we go. Oh, RGB getting in the way. There we go. Perfect. That should do just fine. Liable to fly away now. Could give her like the batwing ears. Isn't that like a Darkstalkers theme? Maybe it's not their ears. You know, they have like little wings in their hair, don't they? Feels maybe like a little vampire-esque with pointed ears. Doesn't have to be like elven pointy ears. Could be like vampire, something like that. Fae. I don't know. I'm just trying to get away from Harley Quinn. Alright, let's see. A little too sharp here on the bridge of the nose. I think the nose works. It's not too round, it's not too sharp. It's got a little chunkiness to it. It's got some rhythm kind of starting to flow here from the profile. Ooh, a little too much. Kind of like it. Can soften it. A great technique with your lower lip here, you can see that I've done. You know, you start to find that edge, and then you really just kind of remove it entirely. Having a soft transition there. It's almost like it's difficult to tell where it starts and where it ends. Alright. My mouth here, if you look at this from this angle, see how it kind of like S-curves? A little bit of that is okay, but too much can especially from the 3/4 view, feel really weird. Let me take a look. It's actually not that bad. It's not as bad as I thought. It looked a lot worse from the bottom there. Just checking on some planes. Yeah, Morgan and the other one, the green one. You know, the other Darkstalkers character. For some reason, Felicia. Felicia's the cat, right? I've never played Darkstalkers. Was there only like one Darkstalkers game and it's like still super popular? I've never played Darkstalkers. I know the characters are crazy popular though. Is it Lilith? I think it's Lilith. Those are the only characters I know from it. I'm sure there's more though. Those are the only ones people care about though. Lilith, yes. Yes, nailed it. Got it in one. Alright. Alright, here's what I'm thinking. Some little fangs. We gotta sell the vampire look now. You know, we've gotten here. Let's insert. I'll have to adjust the mouth a little, but alright. So you can't use a sphere. I actually, here, I'm gonna delete that. Mulligan. It doesn't really matter. I'll just use a cone. Subdivided a bunch. Scale it down, something like that. There we go, we got a fang. We'll adjust it a little, but. Okay, we're gonna scale this. For some reason it's being a little finicky. There we go. Okay, mirror and weld. Get rid of the subdivs. Mirror and weld, there we go. Beautiful fangs. Way out here. Alright, let's slide those in. And then obviously we're gonna have to adjust and spin these around, make some room. And I'm gonna dynamesh them a little higher. We'll dynamesh, and then I will z-remesh. Four or five different Darkstalker games? I did not know that. Jeez. It's like almost as many as Street Fighter. Okay, so here's my idea. I'm just gonna soften the shape. Oops. Squash it a little. Give them a little asymmetry, kind of pulling out to the side like that. And then obviously, they're kind of going into the lip right now. So we need to create a believable illusion. So we're gonna kind of push them in like that. Now even that is fine. But the angle feels a little weird. So we kind of want those up a little more. Check on that angle. Alright. I need to, here. I'm gonna pull these out away from the character, just so I can play with positioning this way. So we're gonna take a step back. figure out where we want them. Let's see. These are canines, right? That's like the idea with a vampire. Oh my god, I cannot type. Okay. Just trying to find exactly how far apart I'd like to make these. Okay. And then scale is the next thing I want to figure out. So obviously we don't want to give her giant buck teeth. I think having them smaller, you know, be a little understated. Works well. And now what we need, whoops, make sure that those are white. White-ish. We need to create some room here. So there are a couple different ways we can do this. I think I'll just grab my Sharp Soft. Some transparency. Okay. So I'm carving in first, just creating a quick cavity. Obviously, this is not how teeth work. But what we're going to do is we're going to create the illusion that the lips are kind of forming, not forming, but sitting on top of the teeth. So for that, we create the concavity, the cavity there, and then we create just a little bit of some form over top of that, just like this, and then we'll soften it back out. So a little inflation to give it the feel that the lips are going to come over top of that. And let me adjust what I'm doing here. Whoops. Okay. Okay, we might need to adjust the cavity a little more here. So we need to pull through. I don't want to open up the entire mouth because that's going to take a lot of work, so I'd rather just do a quick little fake mouth gap here. Something like that. I think that starts to work. Getting the vibe down. Turn things back on. All right. Take a step back. Feeling pretty good. By the way, here's my amazing reference that I'm using for vampires. I wanted to find a general... I just googled vampire cute here. Vampire. I'm a little scared to Google image anything on stream. Oh, safe search blurring is on. Okay, great, good. But still, you get some weird stuff from Google Images. I wanted to figure out like a general width, like what would feel good, general distance apart. So I was worried that they were a little too close here, but I'm actually, I'm not hating that general look. All right. All right, and I might come back and play with that a little more. Hair is very messy. I can tweak the hair and keep playing with that. this to break the silhouette a little more. Hopefully that's getting a little too big. I'll play with the hair more probably off of stream. Do I want to play with the expression? That's a great question. I ask myself. Alright, so this thing's a little wonky. Kind of all over the place. Lots of concentration on those teeth. Feeling better about the direction of the character. I think we found something kind of fun and interesting apart from the the actual experimentation. That is such a weird glitch. Oh my god. Wow. I've never seen that before. I've seen a lot of weird glitches in ZBrush. But it just replaced, I had a character that I had sculpted, screenshotted, just dropped to the canvas over here on the side. And while I was working on the eyelids there, it just replaced it with the subtool I had selected, the eyelids. Just kind of bugged out. I've never seen that before. That is so odd. Anyway, here's the character that I did before. I'll put that back over there. Okay, character number 2. Character experimentation number 2. And then, like I said, I'll probably experiment with this and play with it a little more off of stream. Most likely I'd do something like that tomorrow after a little break. See if I can do anything else with this. I think overall, though, I'm really happy with the direction in terms of playing around with some rounded shape language, trying to find an interesting direction to go there. So I'm happy with that. I think we've kind of, gone in an interesting and fun direction. And I'll probably experiment with that a little more. If you guys were here at the beginning of the stream, I showed the before and after on the character on the left there. Just a quick little flip back and forth. Very minor changes, but little tiny minor things. They add up, Especially when you're talking about polish at the end. But I am not going to be very useful to myself, because I know myself, in terms of polishing a character and really pushing it, unless I take a break and rest my eyes here. So I'll take some time to do that, and I will share the finished character very soon. But in terms of this character, if you guys missed this one, I'm going to be posting an edited version of the time-lapse here. If you guys are interested in checking that out, that'll be coming out probably on Thursday of this week. Wednesday or Thursday, I'll be done with it. I'll share it here on my YouTube channel. But I think that's a pretty great place for us to hit pause. So if you're new around here, definitely, of course, subscribe. And if you want to learn more about digital sculpting, check out the link below in the description to gumroad.com/Follygon. There you can check out my online program, the Appeal Academy, where you can learn everything I know about digital sculpting. There's also a link to that in the description, as well as a ton of tutorials here on my Gumroad, helpful stuff, tools, my custom brushes, my custom materials. Learn the fundamentals of sculpting the planes of the head. Learn how I light and render my characters in ZBrush. Guys, this is where you go to learn everything that I know about digital sculpting. I mentioned the hard surface stuff a lot. Design and Create a Robot, that's the one you want to check out. Somebody asked about hair earlier. Gorgeous hair. Check it out. I go through 3 different hairstyles, long, medium, and short in that, as well as some different stuff for topology, all sorts of stuff, folds, everything you could ever want. Gumroad.com/Follygon. check it out. That is where you are going to learn everything you need. As well as, I have my YouTube channel here, the Follygon YouTube channel, but I also have my second channel, Drawbly, which you guys should definitely check out. That is my YouTube channel where I've been documenting my process, my journey, I should say, of learning to draw with my wife, Abby. Love drawing, love painting. It is a ton of fun. I highly recommend that you check out the Drawbly YouTube channel. You will not regret it. New videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday over there. And then here, new videos as often as I can. Keeping up with all my students over at the Appeal Academy and all sorts of other stuff. Let's see. Make sure we don't have any last minute questions here. Enjoy your 4th. Thank you, I am an American, and for all other Americans out there, enjoy your 4th of July, your holiday, long holiday weekend. I know a lot of people were off today. Hopefully you were, viewer. And hopefully you have a fantastic rest of your day, everybody. Love the eyelids and eyelashes, or find them to be I'm projecting, find them to be the hardest part. They can be. But scroll back through the video, check it out. I got a ton of stuff here on my YouTube channel. I've made eyes and eyelids and eyelashes, all that jazz, a million times over. So, ton of stuff here to check it out. All right. That's a great place to stop. Again, you guys have a great holiday if you celebrate. Have a great rest of your day. And I will see you in the next one. All right. Bye, guys.